weekly dose of positive and uplifting news starts right now. Hello and welcome to the show. I am Pulem Mulebati. He is known as the brewmaster for his innovative ways in the craft beer space, from working with top brewing companies to starting his very own brewery in Orlando, Soweto. Ndumiso Madlala is a sought-after businessman with an inspirational story behind his success. I recently visited the founder of Soweto Gold Brewery to catch up on his achievements. Have a look. Ndumiso Madlala is a man of many talents. Great culinary skills. Radio DJ.
Evander had an awesome reign. He himself is actually a special heavyweight.
But one talent that sets him apart from the rest is his entrepreneurial skills that saw the creation of his very own brewing company known as Soweto Gold.
The idea started back in 2012. At that time, I was inspired by the growth of the craft brewing industry in South Africa. But I suddenly realized that craft beer was growing more in white suburbs, and there was nothing happening in the townships, and that is where the idea of brewing a township brand was born. Of course, there was no better township to do it in than right here at home in Soweto.
His background in the brewing business made his vision a possibility.
I've been in the brewing industry for 10 years before I started this venture. And what was exciting at that time is I had a very big corporate job. I was looking after 25 breweries in 14 different African countries, traveling a lot all over Africa. In our business then, with one of the brewing giants, we were also building new breweries. And we built a brand new brewery in South Sudan, in Juba. And we were very profitable in the first year. And as I was flying back home one day, it suddenly dawned to me that I can basically replicate what we're doing at work, but on a much smaller scale, and hopefully make a success out of it. And then, of course, once the location had been very clear in my mind that I want to do it in a township, and that township has got to be Soweto, then the next step was, what are we going to call the beer that we brew in Soweto? And it so happened that when I was going through the history of Soweto, I suddenly realized that, hey, Soweto and gold are two things that you can't tell apart. Soweto was born as a result of the gold rush of the late 1800s, and for me, the name Soweto Gold was a clear winner.
Growing up with parents who prioritized education came in handy when he began his journey in the corporate world.
What was very important when we were growing up was the emphasis that our parents put on education. And they actually made us compete against each other for good grades, which is something that has been very significant in my life, because as my elder sister would come with very good grades, I would look at my own grades, even though we're not in the same class, but I would say, well, why don't I, get as good grades as she did, So as I was growing up, that culture of competition basically helped me to sharpen my, study skills, to sharpen my, listening skills in class. And it paid off quite well, because when I finished matric, I finished with an overall A. I got a bursary with SASO. And I enrolled at the University of Natal, studied chemical engineering, finished my degree in 2001, did very well at varsity, so much so that I got a scholarship to even further my studies in the Netherlands. I did my Master of Science in the Netherlands at the University of Twente in Enschede. When I finished, a year before I finished, I wrote my master's thesis in a new beer filtration technology, and that thesis work was what introduced me to what will become my future passion, which is beer. When we started the business, we actually did not even start brewing beer in Soweto. We had to put our recipes in test. The recipe of Soweto Gold, by the way, was developed in my kitchen at home. I was staying in a small neighborhood called Malbatten at that time. And now moving from a kitchen pot into a brewing kettle, it's a whole different ball game. So we did not want to just jump from the kitchen into 2,000 liter batch brews. So we had to kind of like find an intermediary step where we can test our recipes. We then went into negotiations with Nottingham Road Brewery, which is a small microbrewery in the Natal Midlands. So they agreed to assist us, try small 500-litre batches and see how the beer came out. Luckily for us, the beer came out as we had anticipated. And then we said, well, before we can even invest in Soweto, let us test the market, let's put the beer out there. So we came from all the way from KwaZulu-Natal into Gauteng. And what we also liked about Ubuntu Crawl was it was a stone throw away from Vilakazi Street, which, as you know, it's a major tourist destination. And the idea was when we have our own beer garden, we can get some traffic from Vilakazi Street coming into Ubuntu Crawl. And our estimations were right. We are getting nice volumes, nice traffic of people coming from Vilakazi Street, wanting to know where is the local beer brewed. So they come in here to see the brewery, but also taste our fresh brews.
Today, the same kitchen where the magic of Soweto Gold began is a place where the family prepare delicious meals.
It started in, I can say in 2011, where we would do some recipes in our own kitchen, you know. There is one, my grandmother's ginger, we did that, and couple of ones, and he was like, you know what, my heart is set on starting something for the people, you know, in the location in the township somewhere.
My son was born exactly on the day I commissioned the brewery. My life has always been, if I could define my life, you know, I could define it all around brewing. I met my wife on my first brewery job back in 2005. And of course, it's working at the breweries that gave me, you know, enough resources to be able to afford paying Hello Ball. And we got married in 2008.
He is a loving somebody. He is a very loving husband, very supportive, a loving father. He is always there, and he is a go-getter. Whatever he set his mind to and believes that he can achieve, he goes for it.
Ndumiso runs Soweto Gold with pride and sheer dedication because against all odds, he remained committed to his dream. Each tour of his brewery is an opportunity to show that dreams do come true.
All the water that comes in here is municipal water, but we purify it using very small filters. 5 micron, 1 micron fill. Those brewing tanks are 2,000 liters in terms of batch size. That 2,000 liter is then brewed and then cooled in this heat exchanger. So from 100 degrees Celsius, you cool it all the way down to 12. And then from there you add oxygen. And once you've added oxygen, then you can start your fermentation process. So the beer goes into any of these tanks. These tanks are also 2,000 liters, so it's 1-to-1. Before you start the fermentation process, of course, you have to add the yeast, and the yeast will help you kickstart the fermentation. So what happens when the beer ferments is you start getting the sugar going down. So all the sugar that you had, it goes down, and as it goes down like this, it creates alcohol and carbon dioxide.
After the break, Ndumiso talks more about the steps he took to get Soweto Gold where it is today.
Let's go, Eugene. You got this, man. Let's go, buddy. You're safe. Let's go now. Jump.
2 weeks earlier.
What do you guys do?
We do IT.
IT.
Yeah.
That's great.
Share a castle, make some new friends.
Why is there a dispute over who is the rightful heir to the throne?
What I can say is that Masindi is a woman.
she's a girl child. Because I think that if she was a male, there's no way that anybody was going to dispute the fact that she is the rightful heir.
Do you recognize her as your rightful heir?
Yeah, no, I will definitely say that she is my daughter. She grew up there.
What is the intention?
I want my throne.
Join me in Port Said live every Monday to Thursday at 17:30.
Welcome back to the show with me, Bophelong Molebati. Today we are narrating the story of founder of Soweto Gold, Ndumiso Madlala. Ndumiso admits that it was not always smooth sailing when he started his business. He talks about what inspired him to stay committed to his vision in this next insert. Ndumiso Madlala is a role model to aspiring entrepreneurs. His story is a testament that vision requires hard work and commitment. His struggles in business are now part of his success story.
I remember when I left work, I was quite naive. I thought if you've got a great idea, you can basically just fund it everywhere. So we started knocking on many doors, looking for funding. And interestingly, a whole lot of private business people I'll speak to were always scared of, going head to head with the biggest brewer in the country. Their argument was always, but you are going right into an important area for them. So it was an important area for them. So if you basically start anything that has to do with beer in Soweto, you'll be competing against them and they will shut you down. And eventually we sent our business plan to the ITC, and the ITC took a look at it and they liked what they saw. They saw that there was a commitment from our side as well, what they call the skin in the game. So we had spent quite a bit of money that we've put as a deposit towards the equipment. And we were very lucky that at that time when I did the application, I was just 34 years old. So I got a very good youth loan, which comes interest-free. And that is what assisted us. Just like any business, when you start, you want your product to be of the highest quality. And this is one industry where you really can't make a mistake when it comes to quality. Beer lovers are unforgiving. They taste something they don't like and they probably would not come back into your brand. It's a problem that affected quite a number of craft brewers in the country. The shelf life of our products was very low. After a month, the product started getting a bit sour, and we realized that we had to do something. So we invested in a pasteurizer, which is a machine that basically assists you to keep the beer fresher for longer. That actually assisted us in now getting from a shelf life of about a month, extended that all the way to 3 months. I mean, today our shelf life is over 9 months, so we really took the quality issues very seriously. Well, another big challenge is any business that is starting up, particularly a small business, you always tend to run into cash flow issues. And what I found, to be the biggest challenge is I had employees, so at the end of the month, they want to be paid. There was a particular time, when my business partner and I will only sacrifice ourselves, let's pay our employees, we've got commitments, we've got a loan to repay towards the ITC, and then if there's anything left in the kitty, then fine, we'll sort ourselves out. If not, well, tough luck, And those are the hardships of being an entrepreneur, and I think that tests you, if you are really into this. And I think we passed the test. We marched on. There will be times where, we sit down with my business partner, we stress a lot about money, where is it gonna come from, what are we gonna do now, but somehow we always manage to get over the hurdles and it has paid off big time. Well, of course, there'll be times where I'll wake up in the morning and I'll say to myself, with so much academic qualifications, why am I really starving my wife and kids? Why don't I just dust up my CV, swallow my pride, accept that, this is maybe not working, go back to corporate and live the old life I used to live, and this is when you know that you are a true entrepreneur. You have to dig deep within yourself to say, but hang on, I had a vision when I started this thing. I am going to see the vision through no matter how difficult it is.
The lifestyle that we had to cut a lot, just to make sure that Soweto Gold gets out there. You understand? We had to cut a lot, and I was behind him 110%. So I understood that it wasn't going to happen overnight.
Ndumiso shares how the accolades they collected along the way are rewards well deserved.
There were a couple of milestones that we have achieved with the business, and as the founder of Soweto Gold, some of them are very much difficult to tell whether it's personal or whether it's business. It always kind of like it's mixed. We're very happy that when we first started, to brew the beer here in Soweto, we were chosen as the best craft beer in South Africa by the League of Beers in Cape Town, and that was for me a very proud moment. And in 2016, I was voted as Township Entrepreneur of the Year in manufacturing, which was also a very proud moment, especially because that accolade came in with a bit of cash. As a small business, you need cash assistance, and we pulled a 300,000 rand check. So for a small business, that's a lot of money, and we were very happy about that.
And after the break, Ndumiso reveals the plans he has for the community of Soweto. Stay with us.
Finally, getting the click in Xhosa right. Mowing the lawn without mowing the cable. When your washing machine gives you all your socks back.
With so many good deals at the Tops at Spa Subfest, you'll find any reason to celebrate. Get 2 bottles of Citrix, the original Old Brown, for only 55 Rand. Only at the Tops at Spa Subfest.
A warm welcome to one of your favorite weekly review analysis programs, Media Monitor. So let's look at the race itself.
It's just becoming a personality contest where people just want somebody to guard their own vested interest. And I feel that the country is at a point now where we need some sort of change.
It is ANC policy that they will have to implement.
We fairly know the direction the ANC wants to take. As a leader, you have to implement.
So what was it like on the ground in Kenya?
Well, the country is divided. The country is very divided.
I think within the country, for me, the one person that I criticize severely, and I'm not very happy with his approach, is Raila Odinga, with him pulling out.
Stay tuned to Media Monitor and catch on analysts unpacking top stories every Sunday from 9 a.m.
Show me a greater power on the whole continent of Africa. Show me a greater power anywhere.
6th of June 1918 was the establishment of our movement to maintain that.
We need to do something about the educational upliftment of the Afrikaner, and we also need to do something about the economic upliftment of the Afrikaner. And that was the 2 main goals at that stage in 1918.
The Brotherhood never was a cultural organization. It was a state-capturing organization. It is, in fact...
I like that term.
It has captured the financial systems. It has captured the parastatals. It has captured cultural organizations.
For all your constitutional and legal matters, tune into Rights and Recourse on Sundays between 2 and 3 Central African Time.
Welcome back to the show. As we conclude the story of Ndumiso Madlala, we look at how he is using his business to impact the community of Soweto. Have a look at this. Situated in Orlando, Soweto at the Ubuntu Crawl is Ndumiso Madlala's brainchild. Soweto Gold was created after a few years in corporate work. Founder of brewery company is now moving to the next level of his business. His new partnership with a leading beer brand is a perfect piece to the puzzle.
As we moved along, all of a sudden we started getting a lot of interest from big corporate guys, people who saw the vision, our vision with my business partner, and of course that is to grow a township brand into a global phenomenon. And as guys were approaching us, there is one partner that we really liked. The reason why I like them so much is I had worked for them in the past, so I knew everything about their quality standards, but they also came with a huge muscle in terms of sales, marketing, and distribution. And we thought, well, if we partner with these guys, we can realize our dream, which is to take a brand from the township, and make it really into a global success.
Yes. Ndumiso is a very special person. First of all, he's a very good brewer, which is important because at the end of the day we need to taste the beer. So technically he's a very good brewer. I think he's a visionary. He has a clear plan where he wants to go. But he's also able to translate that into practical steps how to go there. And I think he has that rare quality of bringing people with him in the journey. He's very eloquent. So it's easy to be inspired by him. So that's how I would describe Ndumiso, and I think he lives his dream. I think he's generally proud of what he has achieved, and I think he's generally curious of what his path will bring him. So he's been a great guy to work with. I think the partnership helps to create jobs, because if we are able to sell more craft beer, there will be more jobs in the brewery and services servicing the brewery. That's one. Second, the guys, Ndumiso, have quite some experience in supporting good work in the Soweto community. They have been involved in commemorating the 76 heroes. They supported breast cancer awareness programs and many other things, and they will keep on doing that. And thirdly, to also support the launch of the Soweto Gold Superior Lager, which is all about brotherhood. And you say it's born in the Ekasi. The guys are together. So we will organize a lot of activities in, first of all, Soweto, but later broader in the country, where people can actually experience those activities. So we will start with street football tournaments, basketball tournaments, and all these kind of things to bring people together and let them have fun.
As the business grows in customer reach, the company is giving their employees an opportunity to grow in skill capacity.
Ndumiso is the guy who's willing to see someone going forward. And if you can see that we are stuck here and there, since it's a well-educated person, he's going to take you step by step up until you go wherever you are supposed to be. Everything that I've started, I've been being helped by Ndumiso and so forth here and there. Like now, there were some few things that we wanted to start together, like some other brands, because where we started, we were only doing just one brand. So we started by doing some other brand like ginger, cherry, and apple, and so forth. So we started all those things together.
This achievement has enabled Ndumiso to give back to the community of Soweto through his business.
Brand Soweto Gold, as you know, we say it's born in Soweto and it's brewed for all. It's all about the spirit of Soweto, the spirit of brotherhood. And when we looked around as to what impact can we make in the community of Soweto, we thought, Soweto has exported great football teams, and soccer development in the township is very important. So when we looked around, we thought it would be great for us as a company to look at fixing stadiums, just to make sure that the youth of Soweto has the possibility to train nicely in stadiums that are fit for training. And this will help to develop the next generation of soccer stars. We are starting with these programs as early as next year. We've identified a couple of soccer fields that are really in need of repair, and hopefully by mid next year we should be able to have better facilities for the benefit of the community of Soweto.
We'd like to thank Ndumiso for sharing his story and inspiring us to be brave enough to create our own magic. Thank you for tuning in. Until next week, it's a goodbye from us here on the show.